Is it just me or is Sam a bit quiet?
Sam's always quiet until
Yeah, I see the problem. Hold on.
he's sitting up.
No. Again, when I click into mute and unmute, I slowly swivel it, so it slowly goes down to like 1 pip volume when it should be at like 3 or 4.
I just imagine Sam has 2 modes in his chair. He's got like gamer mode and like relax mode.
Yeah.
And relax mode is like, like a 45-degree like decline backwards, and then like gamer mode is like sat forward.
I've got a wall right behind me, so I'm always at pretty much 90 degrees. Like it's like 90 or 80. 80 is my relax.
I need to get.
I guess 110.
Been thinking about getting a new chair, but I don't need a new chair. I just like a new chair.
You want a new chair?
Have any of you ever had like those trick? They're not trick, but it's like the gamer chairs where it's like the red racing stripe and shit.
I have had 3 like proper branded gaming chairs.
Yeah.
And now I know I'm a big chap, but all of them broke within the first month.
I was going to say, I've heard from a lot of streamers have said like when they're sponsored and they're getting for free, they're like, oh yeah, I love it, and then as soon as their sponsor's done, like it was like, no, they were awful. Just give me a good office chair.
Yeah.
I've had a Secret Labs for a while now. That's pretty good.
So long.
What no one tells you about these types of like chairs is they're hot as fuck. It's like because they're just like really dense foam. If you sit in it for ages and ages, they just get really. At least that's my experience with those types of chairs. And my current
it depends. If you go full leather, then yeah.
My current one is just like an IKEA chair. Just like give me the Björgensporgen office chair.
Yeah. Oh mate. I remember seeing the post of like, if you ever need a chair to last, you buy an office chair because capitalism has made it so that chair will last for as long as possible.
We need you in this chair doing office work. That's the one thing we can't scrimp on. We've got to have you comfy.
I don't delete it, Josh, but you did post in my recommendations channel instead of self-promotion.
Oh, I recommend that you watch this podcast. I don't know.
That's what it's for, though. Is to like if you like, oh, I like this toothpaste, recommend it. If you like this video, recommend it.
Has that ever happened? Has anyone recommended you toothpaste?
No, but it's like that's what I said it's for. It's like, oh yeah, if anyone wants to recommend like a streamer video product, feel free to post it in there.
Yeah, you see, like when I post it in Will's Discord, he's really nice. He'll put in notifications. He'll do a big shout out. Your Discord, Steve, you just like fucking blank. You don't even want to be here.
I gave you a whole channel, bitch.
Yeah, everyone's got it on mute because they're like, "What is this bollocks?"
They don't have it on mute.
That's the channel now because my old Discord is gone.
Yeah.
Sad times.
It is sad times. I kind of shut it all down, and I was like, "Oh, hang on, there were like a few emotes." I kind of liked, and I think everyone still has access to them because the Discord's not gone.
Yeah, I think if you want some emotes put in my channel, you can more than welcome. I've got plenty of emote slots.
Maybe. I think Suds was saying some time ago that he was still thinking about doing some, but I was like, do Steve's imp in whatever costume he needs first. Like, that's more important than the Game FourCast right now. But...
Oh, we're live. I was going to say something, but I was like, oh, maybe not live.
Yeah, it's completely live. Everyone can hear you. Please don't be very racist,
it wasn't
Steve.
bad. No, shut up. It wasn't bad. It was like, oh, maybe I should wait till after.
I'm curious. What have you got that you can't share with the rest of the class?
It'll be something incredibly tame compared to what he normally says. It's always the way.
Yeah. Okay, now that we're not live, I can finally say it. Boobies.
Titties.
Yeah. Let's just get started. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Game FourCast, weekly gaming podcast where we get together and chat about what we've been playing and all the new gaming news. My name is Josh, aka BottlerWorks. I'm here with Olive Meister, William.
Hello, my name is Olive Meister and/or Will.
And Quikwix, Steve.
Hi, my name is Steve, and I've been very nice this year, so Santa better not put me on his naughty list, or else.
And Sammeh.
Hello. It's me. I'm Sam.
Welcome back, Sam.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to start this off very quickly by
welcome
saying...
back, Sam. What about the rest of us?
Oh, you used to it. You both stream. You get people, like, kissing your bum every day. So I'm being nice to
I
Sam.
wish. I wish.
I'm going to start off very quickly by saying the icons are broken. So where we would normally light up when we talk, it is currently broken. And I found that out, I think, 7 minutes before we went live.
Very prepared.
I would hope by, 48 weeks in, you know what each of us sound like at this point. I'm sorry if you're new. But I'll look into a fix next week.
Yeah, you picked a poor week to sign up.
I was thinking about this the other day, right? Where podcasts I've listened to in the past, it's gotten to normally by we're week 48, right? Normally at this point for other podcasts, there's a scuffed episode by now. Like, the audio just was bad or something like that. So I think we've done.
That's a good point. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. Like, sorry, someone's microphone didn't work, so we had to get the raw recording from blah blah blah. Like, yeah, I know what you mean.
I hate to tell you this, but every episode's been scuffed.
Nah, not.
Did you hear my mic through the starting episodes?
That's a good point, actually. Also, solid point.
I've had again other podcasts I've watched in the past where it's similar setup where they kind of record it and then release it the next day. And there's been like Twitter updates where they say, "Yeah, we recorded it, but just nothing saved. So sorry."
I've seen. Yeah.
Well, we had that kind of with the where we reacted to some of the gaming conferences for E3, right?
Oh,
the audio was just off.
That doesn't count. That's that was like thrown together last minute. That doesn't count.
You could still hear us just fine there. I think it was the game streams that were wrong.
They were too quiet or something.
Yeah, stand-up were wrong.
It was them that was wrong, yeah.
Although that was the catalyst that made me look into all this crazy like audio tracking and balancing. So there you go.
Nice.
With every failure, you learned stuff. That's supposed to be more poetic than it actually was, but
yeah. No, I think you nailed it. I think that's the exact quote.
Something like that. Okay, we'll jump straight into it. What have you been playing this week, Will?
Hello.
Hello.
It's weird. It's like you say you're joking like 48 weeks in, and yet every time you still call me up, I still have this panic of like, what did I play?
Have I played anything? What the fuck?
Have I done anything? What am I doing with my life? Yeah, I played some High on Life this week, and I think it's all right. It's like this is the Justin Roiland,
yes,
Rick and Morty, the video game, essentially. If you want to be like reductive, and I wanted to play this mostly because you guys all hate it.
That's not true. Don't pen me in with Sam on this. It's Sam that hates it, right?
I feel like the very first trailer was like, I was like, I'll give this a chance, and you guys all went, this looks like shit.
I will stand by that. Yes, I hated this. I will happily admit, and I will happily admit I watched you play it and had a good time.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I think for me, the whole thing is it looked like the concept is like A+. Just why is it Rick and Morty humor? It could have been some other franchise and been good.
That's literally
Rick and Morty is the concept as well, though.
It's not like
just the idea of guns talking to you is so cool.
It's not like it's not Rick and Morty, right? It's just Justin Roiland. I think that's just his thing.
It's more Morty than Rick. Yeah.
Or Morty's the voice actor for the main gun, right?
Yeah, Justin Roiland voices Morty and is the main character. Well, the main gun. They're called Gatlians, which is, it's cute.
Well, he does both voices, right? He's both Rick and Morty, I think.
Is he really? I thought someone else was Rick.
That makes me like the show even less now because I'm just like,
he does. Yeah, I always thought it was someone else. I don't know.
No, I remember that because you watch like a behind the scenes thing, and it's like there's certain videos like for South Park as well where it's someone literally having a conversation with himself.
Yeah.
In like two different voices.
Oh, okay. Well, this is more Morty than Rick, for sure.
Yeah.
The main. He's your first weapon that you get. The idea, if you don't know, this is a game where aliens invade Earth because they want to smoke humans because humans are the most potent drug in the galaxy. You you get hold of, they're called Gatlians, they're sentient guns. There's a whole bunch of them in the game. They all get voiced by various comedians and internet personalities.
we sure it's not just Justin Roiland again?
No, maybe. No, there is a whole. I recognized a fair few people as much as I played, and the whole thing kind of plays out like, I think I described it as like Doom Eternal at home, right? Where it's a lot of the levels are you'll walk into an arena, a bunch of enemies will spawn, and you have to kill them, and then there's some other bits and pieces like some light puzzle solving, and I feel like I wasn't expecting the game to be any good. I kind of went in like, I'm gonna give this a shot. I think the humor will not last a whole game, and I think that part is true. And then I thought, the game will probably be like fine, but it's got some really good ideas for a game that's sort of like
like a
it's that
throwaway
very
game
like
kind of
cynical style of humor where it's like, joking about like, this is a shit bit of the game, like, like, shooters, aren't they so generic and uninspired?
I saw one clip specifically where it was him being like, "Oh, look at this! This is getting repetitive now." IGN, Kotaku, you watching this? This is a couple points off the review. This is shit.
Exactly.
That's pretty funny.
And it's a lot like that where it wants you to think like, it's so much cooler than shooter games.
But you are a shooter.
But it does
still.
actually have but it does actually have some really good ideas. Like all your weapons have some kind of alternate fire that you can use for traversal and combat. And then those guns can be modded even further to do like the Morty gun, the very first one, his alternate fire is this like glob grenade that knocks everything up in the air. And then when things are in the air, you can shoot them to like air juggle them, like Devil May Cry style. And it's a good way to kill enemies. But then you get like a mod, which is when you're air juggling anything, all of your bullets will ricochet and hit nearby enemies. So there's this cool loop of like,
that sounds really
knock a guy
cool.
up, you juggle him in the air, and like while he's in the air, he becomes like a bullet pinata where he's just like killing everything around him while he's just like flailing helplessly. And it is like there's stuff in here that's like, wow, that's cool. This is really fun.
Yeah.
You get like a grapple hook knife right off the bat, which you can use mid combat. There's a bunch of, you can be ziplining around and like grapple hooking off of people and stuff. And it just plays like weirdly competently for just like what should be like a throwaway like shooter level. I don't know.
It's one of those things where it's like it's always the problem when a game has such like a big base on the front, right? So for example, like Justin Roiland, where you think like, okay, the game can't, maybe it won't be great, but it's like, well, he's not the only person making the game. It might still be a good game.
It's like it is so his like identity all over it. It almost feels like a movie or TV show tie-in game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas like this is kind of just the Rick and Morty video game, even if it's not the license specifically. It's like the main character is Morty, or Rick or whatever. And
what if Morty became a gun?
Pretty much.
Like
that's it's almost like like an like this could have been an episode of Rick and Morty, and they've made it into a video game. I would be curious if this at one point they pitched it, as a Rick and Morty game, and they just couldn't, where all the characters are getting turned into guns or whatever, and they just couldn't work out a deal for that,
Well, it's like when you look at doing stuff like that, it comes down to you want to do certain things, and obviously it's like Rick and Morty is, it's Justin Roiland and that other guy. What's his name? Dan Harmon? Dan Harmon.
Obviously
it's their project, but it's like there's so much money tied in. It's like, you can make a Rick and Morty game, but you can't have them do this. You can't do that. We don't want you doing this. Whereas, like you say, they might just go like, okay, then just screw it. We'll make a Rick and Morty game in everything but name.
Everything but the name. Yes. Exactly.
Watching Will play this, like I don't like Rick and Morty. Like I think the fans are just so obnoxious sometimes.
My confession because it feels like it's a confession, even though I don't think it is. I actually really like Rick and Morty. I think it's a really good show.
Yeah, I really like Rick and Morty.
There's this weird thing that's come
the
out.
fans are obnoxious.
Well, I feel like there's been a handful of videos that have gone viral of Rick and Morty fans being unbearably stupid and annoying, and now it's kind of weird to like the show, even though a lot of people do still like the show.
I was gonna say it's
I think we're past that. But...
Well, it's a bit like Undertale when that first came out. It was like it was a cool game, and then the fans took it too far, and then it just became like almost like no one wanted to play Undertale because it was associated with the fans.
I think this is just a case of you or me or whatever being terminally online, where most people just watch Rick and Morty and do not think anything further than that. Same with Undertale. A bunch of people played through Undertale, loved it. That was it. Like, that's enough.
Yeah, but it's like as I said, I'm not a huge fan of Rick and Morty. Like I've tried watching one episode, so I was like, I kind of wrote this game off, being like, that's not for me. But then watching you play, I actually was like, I could see myself playing this like in my own time if it was like free, which it is on Game Pass. So like it does look like a pretty decent game, I do have to say. Like even with the humor, which not everyone's going to agree with, you're probably going to cringe a little bit. It looks like an enjoyable game. Like it's almost like a surprise sleeper hit to me for some reason.
Apparently, it's doing fucking numbers. It's like chasing down Call of Duty for concurrent players at the moment on Xbox, which is fucking ludicrous, right?
That's really funny.
But yeah, it's just.
How much is this? Say, like, just buy it.
I think it's 50 quid, right?
Or is it a budget? 46.49. Okay,
it's on Game Pass. People don't buy it.
What is that number though? Is that some kind of
probably some reference?
I was going to say, is that? Yeah, that's the funny number from episode 3, season 4.
It's probably currency, but yeah, maybe it's a reference.
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably converted currency, but
Rick runs around going 46.49. It's so funny. You got to be there. I have this game installed, and I haven't played it yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to really enjoy this when I play it.
Yeah, I think it's just a really weirdly competent shooter, and there's some stuff in it that's the humor is like whatever, but there's some stuff in it that's like the second level I went to was this like you started off and it was like a Dune style planet, and then you got to there was like this whole desert section. There was like a platforming bit. You got to like a frontier town, had a shootout in there. Then it took an elevator down to this like cyberpunk 2077 like future city underground. Had a whole segment in there, including like multiple like puzzle arenas, a bunch of platforming. Did a training course for like signing up for this militia, and it just kept going. And then it got finally got to the boss, and I finished the boss, and it was like, all right, time to head back. And I was like, holy fuck, that was one level with like it just went on forever. It was crazy. And I was like, there was a bit where you emerge from this like fighting arena, and you're in the distance. There's like this Event Horizon like black hole sort of skybox thing, and I was like, this game has no business looking this good. Like what the fuck is going on here?
We're just like we're hovering this this screenshot right now, right? And
yeah.
I think this looks. I know it's a screenshot taken specifically for the store page, but like, it looks great. It's really colourful. It's really clean.
It sort of reminds me of like the Ratchet and Clank style, kind of like cartoony, but the kind of cynical at the same time.
Yeah,
like
really saturated colours.
Yeah.
Like just in this one screenshot, you've got like a bright blue gun, big red trousers on this guy. It's like a yellow guy in the background. Just lots of really pop-in colours.
And one nice thing I saw, actually, I was almost going to put this as a news story, but I was like, I know we're going to be talking about this game. But they did patch in an option to lower the frequency of the guns talking. So if you really can't stand the humour, you can tone it down.
I think that I would say, though, that's not going to stop. If you like this style of humour, you'll be in. if you don't, that option is not gonna save you.
Yeah, no, but true. But if you're like, oh, the guns are talking too much, you can tone it down. There is an option now.
I feel like you'll know if you like this game or not before you even played it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
But then again, admittedly, I really enjoyed watching Will play this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I unfortunately missed all of that. So
I am the first person that will admit that I dislike Rick and Morty with a passion.
That's fair enough.
The humor just doesn't land. I get bored and tired when watching it. It's just really not for me.
Yeah, and I do think the jokes are more miss than hit, just
that's a shame.
because of the length of the game.
Yeah.
And it's like most of the jokes are, I'll be like, oh yeah, very, very good. Yeah, very. There's a bit at the start where there's like a kid character and he's being a little dick and he's like pushing. He's like, you can't kill. What you gonna do? You shoot a kid, and then you shoot the kid, and it's like your gun's like, oh boy, normally you're not allowed to do that in video games. Oh, that's very. And I'm like, yeah, that's
really funny.
It's very funny. Yeah, but there have been a bunch of jokes that have genuinely made me chuckle. There's a bit where they're like, oh, we need to cross this canyon, and there's a bridge, but there's a bunch of construction guys, and they're all just like aliens, but they've got these really thick New York accents. They're all just, oh, there's a wise guy. Oh, what you doing? And then as you make your way, like despite the bridge being out, you make your way around, and they're all just on the cliff above you, going like, "What you doing? Some platforming? Ah, you dickhead! What you doing?" And that just made me really laugh. I don't know. Some of it is.
My favorite bit was literally the tutorial where you get the gun and he just goes, "Oh, I don't know what buttons I just fire, just figure it out." I think that's such a good way to do a tutorial rather than being like, "Press this button to do this." Press this button to do this. Just being like, "Oh, just press the buttons, figure it out."
Yeah, I like games that are just like you've played enough games at this point. If you're playing like something like High on Life, you've probably played another shooter at some point, right? It's not Call of Duty. It's not like baby's first shooter.
I was gonna say the amount of games that are like press W to move forward, now press D and A to move side to side. It's like, come on.
I kind of get that based on like what game you're playing. Like if you're playing Call of Duty or if you're playing God of War or something like that, or like an Uncharted game, for a lot of people that will be like the one and only game they play. Exactly, yeah. Which is what I'm saying. With something like this, like High on Life, I don't feel like this would ever be someone's first game.
I wish though that a game would be like press W and it's like if you can't get the rest, plug in a controller, you noob or something. Just like roast someone for not knowing how to move in a game.
Piss off the players at the very start. Let's see how that goes. No, I think about the comedy sometimes not landing. I think as long as the game is good, which it sounds like it is from what you're describing, I think in the future you'll remember more of the good than the bad. Does that make sense? It's like if the game was shit, you'd be like, oh yeah, and bad jokes. But if the game's good, then you'll look back fondly, I think, at the funny parts of it.
If it feels like a really good. No, I know he's made a couple of other games. There was like
VR stuff.
There was like a VR Rick and Morty game and maybe something else.
Yeah,
but it feels like a really solid like new IP. You know, maybe not this universe or this kind of style of game, but like I'm like, whatever you make after this, I'm interested because it's clear that they've got some good ideas over there. Whatever.
What is the studio? Yeah, I was just thinking that. What is Squanch Games?
Squanch Games, isn't it, or something? Yeah.
Squanch is specifically I think a thing from Rick and Morty. The character Squanch.
I can hear it. I can hear it in the voice.
Oh, I'm squanching or something.
Yeah.
I can hear Sam like seething over his. I'll move this along unless you got anything else you want to wrap it up with.
No, give it a go. It's on Game Pass. No reason not to play it. It's got some very good bits and then a lot of very like bits. Yeah. But I think it's fun. I think it's a fun time.
Yeah, I've got a lot of time off work coming up, so I think I'll be checking this out for sure. All right, and Steve, what have you been playing?
I have been playing nothing at all because I have just literally been loving the new Hunt event.
No, that's fine. It's been busy Hunt stuff right now. You got the new event. You got the Wildfire, which came out and was apparently cool. I missed it because I wasn't playing that one day, but I'm not going to go into
Yeah,
that
sure.
here.
Can we
It doesn't
talk
exist,
about
I don't
that?
believe you.
You can do it quick if you want. Yeah, I'm up for that.
Just a little bit.
Just for a little bit.
Hunt, what the fuck is up with this event? The one thing I'm looking forward to, and then I take a single day off and I miss it apparently, and it's never coming back. I don't understand. What the fuck?
I think it'll
They'll
come
bring it
back. It has to come back, surely.
We were talking today how they've put out a serve after the one day that the special, because for those who don't know, we're talking about Hunt Showdown, and
Hunt Showdown. Yeah.
they've added a wildfire map like time of day where like the half the map is on fire, and they put it out for like 24 hours. And afterwards, they've put out a survey asking, do you want this like in rotation or do you want this on specific days? So I think they're trying to get feedback, because while the fires were cool, like actually walking through some of the areas that were heavily on fire did feel intense. It might have been a bit much for people. So I'm assuming they're like, do you want it in rotation where you could just randomly get these, or do you want it on set days so maybe people can avoid it if they don't want to play on those days? Because
it's so much effort.
Who are these people? You're like,
I don't know, but I'm just saying like it did feel
protecting.
Like, no, but walking through it did feel like extremely intense. Like
that's the
point.
Like,
oh god.
Here's the thing, though. I think that it might only feel like that because you only got to play it for like a couple of hours.
True.
Yeah.
If it's in rotation, like I've seen so many people post like, "Oh man, you could feel the heat," and I'm like, "Yeah, but could you?"
it was a lot.
Could you?
But like, I remember booting up Hunt for the first time and being like, "This is a lot." Like,
yeah,
but now
Hunt is an intense place to be until you get used to it.
Yeah, but it now like Hunt to me is like it's kind of like chill and zen. I'm not sure. Like the fires were.
But that's what we're saying.
Yeah, I personally want them in rotation, like more than 50%. I put in like the survey, but yeah, it like I am excited for the wildfires, but I'm also like just really loving the event overall. Like we've got 3 different packs, which grounded pack is the best because you can self-res as a solo and keep your hunters even if they die. And I'm not sure. Seems like my event. I've been just loving this event to death.
I just think, how should we rotate it? Should we rotate it at all? It's just like, just from a like development point of view, it makes no sense not to shove this in people's faces. This is so much work.
Yeah.
Like you have taken all 3 maps and completely changed basically everything about them. Right, the whole thing's on fucking fire.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like you'll look at you can press tab when you load into the game and see it's all 3 maps have like certain areas that are set areas. They don't change, but they're on fire, and it'll be like kind of like an 8 on the map, or like it will like be just like set pathways that are on fire.
Wait, are they set in stone, or are they different fires every time?
They're set in stone on each of the 3 different maps.
Okay.
So each of the maps have their own fire pattern. But yeah, and it does change how you do play on them, because like certain like pathways are cut off, and that you have to like really navigate through some of these areas. And it's not like that game changing to the point, because everyone was thought the Infernal Pact, which is all about like walking through fire and surviving, would be like, oh, this is their time to shine. Not really. Like you can avoid the fires pretty easily, but it was like interesting, and I can't wait for it to come back.
But am I going crazy? This should be in rotation as a normal weather modifier.
It should be. I also think though that people were very worried about it affecting like PC performance.
It's fine though, right? From what I've heard.
Yeah, people were saying like it's not affecting performance. Even with people with potato PCs are like, oh yeah, no, it's fine. It's no dips in frames.
It's like Will's been saying as well. It just seems crazy to me that like, what's it, a day before the event, or before this happened, it happened on the Saturday just gone. They put up, it's going to be this Saturday for 24 hours. Have fun. I'm like, it's the last weekend before Christmas. Like everyone is out like shopping and seeing family, and it's just like I would have loved to play this, even if just for a little bit. But I was busy.
I think it's like the 1-2 punch of the event started. We knew we did like this is the thing they've been hyping up. Is this?
Yes.
In all the trailers, in all the backgrounds of all the trailers, even when they're just like, here's a new gun. It's like, well, okay, it's a new gun, but why is that whole building on fire? Like, what's going on there? And then the event starts. and it's nowhere to be seen for days.
Yeah.
No word from Crytek. Everyone's like, "What's going on? Where is
What
it?"
fire?
And then like they're suddenly playing coy with it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, all right, I guess I'll take the day off. I don't want to play Hunt today. And they're like, all right, 24 hours only. You gotta leave that. And I'm like, well, I'm busy now. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's crazy. If you don't follow like Hunt Showdown, Twitter and Reddit and stuff, you wouldn't know.
No announcement in game. Nothing unless you're literally glued to Hunt Showdown socials. You would have no idea. You would just load into a map one afternoon and be like, oh, shit's on fire. Like, what the fuck?
And it's like I said, it doesn't make sense from a development point of view. You look at this and this is
waste all that time trying to do it once.
It's thousands of man hours.
Yeah.
Like collectively, a massive, I'd say massive, I don't know the actual size, but like an art team, a programming team, they've all worked together to create this event that a lot of people might have just missed because of poor, what's the word? Communication.
Well, you say that, but also like this event is on for 2 months, and I'm sure they will ramp up the frequency.
That's fine, but when?
Maybe after Christmas, like maybe they're just like, oh, we're just doing a little test to see how like even the servers handle it, because Hunt is known, unfortunately, for putting new stuff in and things breaking and the servers crashing and
I just want just better communication. Would be nice.
Yes.
Just the event starts. We're planning a wildfire on this Saturday, on this weekend. It won't be the only one. After Christmas, we'll be doing them on these days for a bit. Let's just anything. As of right now, I've missed the one day and have no clue when it's coming back.
Yeah,
True, yeah.
And am I just gonna have to be on like high alert for the next like refreshing Hunt Twitter just to be like, all right, tomorrow, all right, here we go, let's go.
It could be, yeah. I mean, if it happened the first time, then why would it not?
Why are they trying to sneak this through? Like, I don't get it.
Unless it is, it might literally be what Steve says, which is just lack of communication with a combination of we want to do it for one day only first, in case it does just break everything.
I guess, but why wouldn't it be the first day? Like when everyone, the hype for your event is the highest and the most people have the eyes on it.
Yeah, it's
why
like,
would you not?
We want to do it randomly so that we don't get tons of people to break it, but also you should have all eyes on it because it's your big frontline event.
But did you not remember the first day where literally after the first game everyone could not log back on because the servers were crashing or whatnot?
And that was completely unrelated to their fire effect. That's because they fucked up the news ticker somehow.
Oh, was it? I didn't know
From what I understand, the launch of this fire map was fine, right? It just it's inconvenient that they said nothing and did it only for 24 hours, but it worked, right?
I've heard not a single person say like, yeah, I had problems with like it crashed my PC or whatever.
Yeah.
Everyone has just said it's the coolest thing to come for Hunt in years, and I didn't see it because they gave me 20. They didn't even give me 24 hours warning it was coming.
I was going to say, maybe that was the point, to be like, oh, look, something cool happened for 24 hours. Next time, you better be on the ball.
Oh, look,
that's a really fucking stupid way to do your event. It goes back to that old thing of like, it almost feels like they're worried about Hunt becoming too successful. You know what I mean? They do everything in the most awkward way possible.
It's a weird type of FOMO where I've had no time to have the fear. It's come and gone.
It's just the Mo part. I just missed out. It's come and gone. Yeah.
And now I'm scared. Now I have FOMO for the next one. But like, it's weird because it's like we said. If they said as soon as this one ended, like next one's in a week, I'd be like sick. I will actually like pencil in an hour or something.
I'll make an effort to try this. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If we knew, if they had some kind of schedule or anything.
Right. Okay.
I'm so bad.
I'm gonna move us along because we're going around in circles. But yeah, cool event. Wish I could play. Yeah, nothing else, right, Steve?
No. It's been a very Hunt focused week. So
yeah. All right, then. What you got, Sam? If anything, don't worry if you don't. You know,
carried on Midnight Suns.
Yeah,
game's still good. Game is still just really good.
My copy of that is in the post, so I should get that in like 3-4 weeks.
yeah, mate.
Because
it's a blast. It's just fun to play, having a good time. Also, did the World of Warcraft raid yesterday.
I was at the Dragonflight one.
Yeah.
Yeah, how was that?
It was good. It's actually challenging, which is nice.
Did you finish it?
No, we killed 3 bosses in our little 4-hour session.
Yeah. How many are there? Like 8 or 9?
8 bosses. We're gonna have another crack tomorrow for
That'd be
a couple
cool.
of hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like it was just 4 hours of like, oh, okay, we died to the boss, but it's very obvious what we need to do. So the next 2 attempts is like you getting better at those things, and then the next attempt you just do it.
Are you doing it what's it, like spoiler free, like blind?
So I don't. I'll be honest, right? I looked up the tactics because I wanted to go in and know what to do and whatnot. Just, we're not pugging it, but it's like my circle of friends with another guy who we know, his circle of friends. So everyone like wants to be, doing their best. And everyone wants to progress.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Story-wise, though, I have no idea who the people in this raid are. I know the final boss, and everyone else I haven't got the foggiest.
Are you supposed to know?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. The last time I did a WoW raid, I had no idea. Apart from the last boss, I had no idea who all of the bosses were, or why we were even there.
There's a guy in here, and his name is like blah 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 Grim Totem or something, and I'm like, oh, okay, I know Magatha Grim Totem from expansions ago. She was a person, but like, what's he doing?
But I mean, like, are the quests leading up? Like as you level up and you do the zones.
Yes, yeah. So you have the main story quests, right? And the like the same with like when you make your Covenant campaign and stuff, it gives you a 6 out of 8 and whatnot. None of these characters that we're fighting have shown up. Not a single one.
Alex has just said the funniest thing in chat. I just took the first boss is featured in a side quest in the 4th zone. There you go. Why are you not paying attention?
There you go, Sam.
You're not paying attention. Come on.
Listen, Alex does pay attention, so maybe he can shed some light on the situation.
I like the idea of just like you're watching an in-game cutscene and then you zoom in the corner, like blurry. Like Bigfoot. The pictures of Bigfoot in the background, like all blurred and waving. If you look closely in the background of this cutscene, you'll see a blurry character waving. That's the 3rd boss of the raid.
But yeah, it's I don't fully know. I know the final boss. It's very obvious. It's the reason we're there.
Yeah.
The rest of them, like, yeah, just beat him up.
Just beat him up.
Why not?
You having fun?
I am having fun.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. I'm looking forward to raid tomorrow. I'm hoping we can get down a regular raid day because the lads are a fun bunch. I think I could see them being too much for some people, but for me, it's like the right level of noise.
Yeah.
So I'm having fun.
Yeah. Bit rowdy, are they?
Yeah, they can be a bit rowdy, but I kind of like it. So,
yeah. do you see yourself after you finishing this, like grinding it every week?
I don't know if we'll grind it so much as I'm hoping that we'll stick at it, clear normal, and then like clear normal, make work on heroic.
Yeah.
And then once, I think, in the perfect world, if we down heroic, I think that might be the big turning point. Because Mythic, you need a flat 20 people. We haven't got a flat 20 people. We've got like
Mythic's
14 at best.
Mythic's like crazy hard, right?
Oh, this raid in general was hard, and that's why it's fun.
I don't know if I'd have the patience for that anymore.
After doing Nax in Classic, where we walked in being like, oh, well, we've only got 3 hours to do this. Like, we've really not given ourselves enough time. And then we finished it in like 2 on the first run.
Yeah.
It's like, it's nice to come up against bosses and have to headbutt them and be like, we see what we're doing wrong. We see what we have to do right.
You just got to do it.
Now we just need to do it.
Yeah. It's like do your rotation whilst all this other bollocks is happening in the background.
We got to a certain point in the boss where my UI wasn't working from doing dungeons to raids. I couldn't get my raid frames up, so I had to go back to...
kind of hoping that was raid mechanic. Like, yeah, your UI is just broken.
So I had to go back to healing
that'd be sick.
like
It would be sick.
normal. But when
Yeah.
I'm having to focus on tiny health bars in the top left, I'm not focusing on my positioning, and I
Yeah.
get hit by a lot more stuff.
Standing in the fire.
So I finally sorted it out, and then I hit this point where I'm like, okay, now I'm healing more efficiently. I'm taking less damage and shit, and that's good. It's good fun. It's good fun, and I'm just hoping we can find a perfect day for everyone, but it's never going to happen. I mean, you got like 14 people.
Yeah, that many people it's insane. Just trying to coordinate that many people to all play together at the same time.
Who keeps fucking up, Sam? Call them out. This is your
call 'em out,
platform. Who keeps standing in fire?
It sounds like it's Sam, right? Because his UI is...
Yeah, if you don't know, it's you.
I'll have you know, you're making me call someone out. I see where this is going. I don't think I was the first person to die on any boss, and I don't think I died in general as the first healer. So
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Everyone else is the
Hear,
problem.
hear that, everybody else? Step up.
Yeah.
Step up.
Sort it out.
Step up.
Sort
I'm
it out.
sick of your shit.
You got anything you want to add, or any other things you played, or are you happy to throw it to me?
I genuinely think those are the only two things I played
Nah,
this
it's
week.
fine. It's
so-
fine. I'll jump to mine then. I wasn't sure if I'd played this enough to really talk about it, but I think I have, at least to get some like early impressions. I've started the Callisto Protocol,
Oh, God.
and that's I want to talk about that. So I had this delivered through the post, and I've gotten it so late that I feel like everyone has made impressions and moved on, right?
They
And-
thought that we were done. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're playing this on PlayStation,
I am
right?
playing this on PlayStation 5. I think I'm about 3 hours in. So again, I'm still really early. But I've got a few bits to say. What I will say early on is, I was very like vocal about this on all the podcasts. I was really excited for this, right? Just anything Dead Space. I'm like, yes, please. I love those games. I'm up for some more. And this, it wears its influence on its like sleeves, right? It's like everywhere you look, this is basically a Dead Space knockoff, unabashedly. Which I think is fine. I think it's a bit like what's the word? I guess it's like, if that's what you want to do, if you're fine making what feels like an obvious rip of another series, you know, you have those other games where it's like made by the people that made Left 4 Dead, it's Back for Blood and things like that. It's like, if that's like what you're going for, it's fine.
Yeah.
But I feel like it misses in a lot of areas, not to the point where it's a bad game. It just makes you realize, I think, how good Dead Space is.
Right. Yeah. I see what you mean.
Yeah, so things that stand out straight away, like comparison-wise, it's the whole, like, kind of stuck in an area. You're not on a ship like Dead Space, but you're in like a prison, like a space prison, and you get like captured, and then you have to escape, and everything's just like all going crazy. But there's little upgrade points for your guns, like Dead Space, where you just upgrade your weaponry. Over the shoulder view, health bar on the back of the neck. It's just, you know, like gore everywhere.
Yeah.
It's so Dead Space. It's not even funny. But the bits that feel, the two bits that stand out to me, that at least early game, it's really kind of struggling with, is the enemy design so far is just really boring. Dead Space, for anyone that remembers, it had the necromorphs, and necromorphs, iconic. They look fucking awesome. I love necromorphs. They look so cool. And this game, at least where I'm at so far, it's kind of just dudes. It's like a man that looks kind of zombified or something like that, and it's like, okay.
I was gonna say, if you're making a game that's like, oh, as you say, like from the creators of this, a game that's kind of like died off franchise, you kind of need to come out swinging with like designs and gameplay.
I think they tried. Obviously, it's just
a lot of these games that say like from the creators of this, like Back for Blood, like Mighty Number, like from like creators of Mega Man or whatnot.
Yeah, Mighty Number 9 and Mega Man.
They just fall flat, and it's like, come on, like.
I want to emphasize that this game isn't bad. It's just not stellar, right?
Yeah, but like that's the thing. If you're saying like, oh, you're selling the game based on we're the creators of, well, we were some of the people who created this game. You need to come out with like a top tier game to like get people. If not, you'll just be known as, oh, it's less Dead Space.
I think, right? It makes complete sense when it's people only want to hear when you've made a really, really fantastic game.
Yeah.
And most of the time, there's just no way you could live up to that. Like, no one wants to hear from the makers of some bargain bin 360 game that nobody played.
From the makers of Balan Wonderworld.
yeah. But it's like, from the makers of Dead Space, but there's no way. You can't hope to be Dead Space again. It's like you can't capture lightning in a bottle twice.
I
the game
think
was just perfect.
I was gonna say, I think there is potential for these games to like do better, like with designs, with.
Well, I think here's the thing:
more modernized gameplay.
Games that really push the envelope, that they come out and they're your 9.5s out of 10s, your 10 out of 10s, right? The games that really you look back on, 10, 20 years after, and you're like, that game is amazing. It's like Will says, it's almost like it's lightning in a bottle. The reason the game is that good is it's at that time, it's the perfect combination of people that were able to put that game together under a clear direction. And it's just like,
true. You
can still get a bunch of devs together that are all really good. That will guarantee that they'll make a good game. It won't guarantee they'll make the 10 out of 10. I feel like there's so many factors.
It's just that, like, if they are making a game that is like, okay, we use Dead Space and Callisto for this.
Yeah.
If they're making a game that they're like, it's basically Dead Space, like they could have made something else. They could have like maybe differentiated a bit more, but like you said, it's very, very heavily inspired by Dead Space.
Well,
it's like, keep what worked for Dead Space, really push the boat on other stuff that didn't. Like, but if it's just like kind of like a safe, okay game,
well, that's the issue with it's a double-edged sword of saying something like from the creators of Dead Space, where it works marketing wise because it's like, oh, Dead Space was really good. I want to buy this. I want to try it because it's made by the same people. But the other side of that double-edged sword is you will forever be compared to this game that was amazing.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's just like, you get all the marketing lead up, but you pay for it when the game comes out because you gotta be fucking good if you're gonna live up to what you've been saying.
But then,
go on.
I was gonna say, even like I'm thinking back to Ukulele, where they were too faithful to the original, where it's like, oh, we don't want janky camera controls.
No. Ukulele had a ton of other problems that weren't related to.
Yeah, but I mean, but like that was I remember hearing that like.
Ukulele was a bad game. They forgot how to make their own game. I was
going to say that was one point out of many, but still, that was a point that was like, why are you sticking so hard to like janky camera controls? Like, give us a modern camera. It's you can stick too hard to like trying to be like, oh yeah, look, we're the Banjo Kazooie. It's like, no, be your own, stand on your own. Somewhat.
No, but I do kind of get what you're saying, and I think saying from the creators of blank or whatever is fine if you can stick the landing. If Callisto Protocol was amazing, like proper 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, Dead Space as a genre is revived, fuck me, it's so good, then this conversation will be happening, right? No one will be talking about the comparison that's being made. But people are talking about the comparison because the game is just like 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 from what I understand, from what people have said.
I was gonna say, I think it's also unfortunate that like we do have Dead Space coming out as well.
Yes,
like with a remake at least.
I'll get onto that in a minute because there's some stuff about that I want to talk about as well. But yeah, so I was saying another bad thing, or not a bad thing, but kind of feels kind of weird, is there's more focus on melee in this compared to Dead Space, which was primarily shooting, right? And the melee just feels a bit weird. It's kind of, I'm going to describe it the best I can. Your guy feels like he weighs 500 kilograms. He's a tank. He's really slow. He turns slowly. And the melee's got like a shitload of weight to it. And an enemy comes towards you, and they start swinging. The idea to dodge is you'd hold any direction, left or right, and you'll dodge the first swing. If he swings again, you have to dodge the other direction. So it's fine, right? It's like you go left, right, left, and you see he stop attacking, so you attack him back. And it's like really sort of focused on dodging this one enemy. And as soon as you throw like a second enemy in, it gets really weird. Because it either starts getting a little bit janky, where it's so solid in its like dodging and combat, or I've seen it a few times, the other enemy just literally waits. He does the Assassin's Creed thing, where he's kind of like, okay, I can see you're fighting, so I'm going to wait a minute.
Sucks, yeah.
I don't think you're supposed to see it. But sometimes the camera will kind of spin, and you'll kind of catch an enemy like standing there, or you know there's an enemy behind you or to your right, and you're like, is he okay? Like, nothing's kind of happening. I'm fighting this dude, and I know there's like two more behind me, but like nothing's happening.
Are there difficulty settings, and like what difficulty are you playing?
There are. I'm playing on normal.
But it's not like a difficulty thing. It's like a combat
design
setup thing. Yeah, it's like a design problem.
I was gonna say I could imagine like maybe on like easy mode it might be a difficulty thing, but not for a normal.
Well,
so I've only been watching my buddy Rick play through it, but he had the same thing where it's like you start the game, you're fighting like one enemy at a time, right?
Yeah,
and it's like, wow, this is cool, and it's so cinematic, and it looks great, and it feels awesome, good.
Yeah.
And then he got into a room. There was one melee enemy and one ranged enemy, and he was like, "Oh no, oh no, this just doesn't work."
Yes, it's like they made this awesome one-on-one cinematic melee combat, and then just through ramping up difficulty, you have to add more enemies, right? Like design-wise, and it's just like it's not quite working. Maybe it'll change. Again, I'm still very early. But I've heard from a lot of people that this is an issue. I kind of had like this weird arrogance in the back of my head of like, maybe people just aren't good. Maybe I'll be fine, but no, it's bad.
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. And like, well, they just don't get.
They just don't get
like
it.
I do. Okay, so please.
Yeah.
But
So that's I'm still very early on, but I'm enjoying it enough to keep playing. I'll see it through to the end. We were talking about Dead Space Remake a few minutes ago. It kind of feels like the marketing is kind of gearing up for that now. I've seen a few videos recently about Dead Space Remake. Oh, that game looks really, really nice. I'm actually like, there was specifically, if anyone's interested, you can just go on YouTube. There's I think it was IGN. They have a video on a breakdown of a scene that's in the remake and how they've like changed it for the remake. And it's a good video. It's how before Isaac used to watch something happen like through a window, and you could miss it, and now they've kind of made it like a really quick cutscene instead, which kind of is like takes control away from the player. I'm not sure, but then you watch the cutscene, it's like, oh my god, it's a dude like turning into a necromorph in front of your face, and it's fucking awesome. I'm so excited. So yeah, Callisto Protocol, interesting game. Not the 10 out of 10 I was hoping for, but
I was gonna say, do you like the cynic in me is like, do you think this is a giant conspiracy theory to make the Dead Space remake like pop off even more? Because they're like, look, you wanted different, and it
absolutely
didn't work.
not. Absolutely,
not. That's secretly behind this studio. EA has funded an entire like pop-up studio just to spend $50 million, $500 million on this game, the remake, just to make one of their other games look good.
Yeah,
rich people are crazy. We've seen Twitter's drama this week. Like Elon shows, money doesn't make you smart.
$50 million to fund a game to promote their other remake they're making that I'm pretty sure even they don't like. Because EA are just like, oh, fine, fuck it, we'll make Dead Space remake if you'll shut up. We don't want to make either.
EA putting off making a new Dead Space for like 10 years, goes ahead and makes 2 in the space of a year.
No, if you watch any like behind the scenes stuff, the director is, I think his name's Glenn Schofield.
Yeah.
And it's clear, despite all his shit attitudes towards crunch and this, that, and the other, like he clearly loves these games. So I don't think it's a conspiracy, Steve.
But maybe.
But maybe
Yeah,
not.
I think he really wanted to crack that Dead Space, that sci-fi horror genre.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if this game sells enough for him to get another shot, right? Because I'm playing this on PS5. It looks really nice.
Let's hope not.
It's clearly not a cheap game. It's got all the bells and whistles. I will say, as like final closing comments, PC version was fucked on launch. I'm pretty sure it might still have issues. PS5 is absolutely fine. It's fine. It's no serious drops or stutters. So
good.
Good for me, I guess. Yeah. Because everyone I know played on PC and was like, "Oh, this is unplayable."
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Yeah, Callisto Protocol. Okay, we'll move on from what we've been playing then. Let's go for something a bit more festive instead of all this creepy, gross horror stuff. The lovely Stephen, you have bestowed upon us a question. What's your question, Steve?
The question was, since it is the winter season and Christmas is upon us, I was like, what winter events do you think have been done well in games? Like, what ones have you really enjoyed in the past?
Yeah, so like just little Christmassy things in games. I have one, quite a simple one, but whenever I've been playing RuneScape around like Christmas time, they always have some fun little things on there that they do. Like they always have like an event where it's like, get these unique items, throw snowballs or whatever at people, do cool little things like that. This little area's got a bit of snow. I always kind of like that in old school RuneScape. It's like I said, it's very minor, but I always enjoyed that. It's always kind of nice. It's always because RuneScape's a very like nostalgic game for me as well, because I've played it so much as a kid. There's just something about it. It's just really like cozy, I guess.
Yeah.
What about you, Steve?
I was gonna say, I really liked previously when League of Legends would have the snow map.
Oh yeah.
They used to do. I'm not sure what they do now because I haven't played League of Legends in a while. But they used to have maps that would change. When they had the old map, they would basically like do like seasonal maps. And for the Christmas, they would do like winter ones, and they always do like really cool winter skins and stuff. And then when they switched to the new map, with like the updated version of the current map, they for a few years in a row were like, yeah, that's a lot of artwork, and we just can't be bothered. So, Merry Christmas.
Isn't
the other
ARAM basically the snow map now? In League of
basically,
Legends?
but that's not really Christmassy.
You throw snowballs and stuff, though, right?
Sure. But the only other thing I was going to say is I really like in World of Warcraft where every year they have like a winter event, but then on Christmas Day for 2 weeks afterwards, so there's no like need to log in on Christmas Day, but they actually give you like a bunch of gifts under the trees in the capital cities, and that was like, even though it's like you got your real presents and stuff, it always felt like a little bit nice to like log on to like your MMO, which is basically like for some people
your actual life,
second life, yeah. And to just get like, you get like a bunch of fancy stuff, and I always enjoyed that. It felt like, that's like an extra step. I just like all the games that give you stuff. Like Siege will give you a free character, and
they still do that.
It's a good time to log on to games around this time of year.
You got any, Sam?
It's a hard one. It's the small things for me. I'll bring up World of Warcraft again because even literally last week we did a dungeon and just one of the humanoid bosses just had a Christmas hat on, and I was like, it's that time of year again.
The little things.
I do like I think maybe it's just because I like shooters, but shooters tend to do it well.
Yeah.
you can take your pick of Overwatch to Fortnite to Rainbow Six Siege. They'll have some form of Christmas shooter mode going on, and they're normally a blast if you enjoy those games.
Even if it's just sticking a Christmas tree in a corner of one of the rooms.
Yeah.
What about you, Will?
Normally they have full-on events and like game modes for it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm playing. Go for it.
I was gonna say I can't think of a single winter event
fucking
I look
Scrooge.
back on. That's the thing is, like, I feel like Christmas is everywhere now for 2 months of the year at a time.
Yeah.
You can't escape it. And it doesn't annoy me, but it is kind of like I come home from my job where I've had to listen to Christmas carols all day, and I log on to some, whatever, my favorite game, and it's like, it's still Christmas, and I'm always like, well,
yeah, I know.
Yes, I know, I can't escape it.
I was gonna say, I will say, something that I've been enjoying this year is I like log on Dead by Daylight,
Yes.
and it's very cold and chilly and wintry, and then I log on Hunt Showdown, and their winter event is fire. Like,
Fire.
What I was gonna mention is they've completely shunned any kind of traditional winter event this year in favor of setting their whole maps on fire, which is like, yeah, okay, I respect it. Yeah, that's
cool if
awesome.
we could play them.
Merry Christmas, Crytek. Fuck off.
I don't know. It feels very like bah humbug of me, but genuinely, I just it just sort of. I can't think of a really good winter event that I've taken part of in a video game.
You bring up Dead by Daylight, Steve. The current event for Dead by Daylight I found really like kind of generous in terms of just like stuff they're giving that's like all Christmassy.
Yeah.
You go.
I was gonna say, I also find it like it's good for gameplay as well, because like all the hooks and stuff are lit up with Christmas lights, so it's very easy to find them.
So Dead by Daylight at the moment is doing like an advent calendar thing. So it's not much, but every single day you get something just small. It's like a little bonus. And they have a separate like event tome book full of challenges. And I think there's like 10 to 12 like new unique items and cosmetics, and the challenges are just really easy. You can get through it really quickly, and it's nice to have an event, even if it is like a Christmas event. It's nice to have an event in a live service game that's not like we don't need you here every day, man. You just
yeah.
Because literally,
that's a good point, actually.
There's two pages to the event book in Dead by Daylight. The second page released 6 days after the first. So when I first did it, only one page was out. I did the whole page in like 4 hours of playing. All the killer stuff and survivor stuff, just cleared the whole page. And then I was like, oh, okay, when the second one comes out, it'll probably ramp up. But again, all the quests are like, no, just do 3 gens, kill 4 people, win a match. It's like, and win a match, and we'll give you this like whole new killer cosmetic. I'm like, cool. That's nice.
It's nice as well coming from other live service games, which feel like every seasonal event is an excuse to try and just squeeze those extra couple dollars out, extra couple. And then some events come along, and I feel like they're just like, we're long enough in the tooth, we're stable enough in our like cash shop or whatever.
Yeah.
Where we're just like, here's a bunch of free shit. We don't care. Do what you want. Hey, thanks for playing. Thanks for letting us go this long on this. Yeah. On this game that we've made. Like, I don't know. That's really nice.
Well, the Dead by Daylight has a separate battle pass as well, which I have made no intention of like keeping up with. I do not care about it at all. I actually think the cosmetics are kind of like shitty in it. They're not like amazing. Yeah. But just through like casual gameplay, I'm like 5/6 of the way through, and if I buy it, I get all the currency back that it costs. So I'll probably just buy that, because why not? Like I said,
you're losing money if you didn't.
Yeah, that's the mentality. But it's just like, it feels weird to have a non-aggressive live service game. I don't know, I'm used to stuff being like, if you don't play most of the time, you're going to get a nice shiny at the end.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
but I get it. That's how they have to make money.
Do you think we're in like a post that kind of game world where the people are coming to terms with the idea that like, hey, we're not gonna spend our entire lives playing your one game, and if you try and make us like it's the opposite. It's like,
Yeah.
I feel, I'm not gonna play. I boot up Apex or whatever, and it's like, you better play me for the next 6 months, or you're not getting your shit. And I'm like, okay, I'm just not gonna play you then.
I think it's been going on for so long now that like the amount of retention that they need is probably like completely calculated, right? Where it's like we want people, say Apex for example, we want people to know life Apex. We want people to play Apex every day, but we understand that we cannot get everyone. So we need like 0.01% of players that play Apex to end up no-lifing it.
Yeah.
And I think they'll probably like continue doing that as opposed to ramp it down. It does kind of feel like these current systems of battle passes and player retention have been kind of, they're not like old, but it feels very like set in its ways right now. And because these things do always evolve, right? I am curious to see what the next iteration of getting players to stay will look like.
What's the new battle pass going to be?
I can't tell you what that looks like because I have no idea, and neither does anybody else right now. But at some point, there will be a game that comes out, like when battle passes first came out for like Fortnite. Well, this is cool. This is great. I love this. It's getting tons of stuff and blah, 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 before it got a bit old. So what will the next thing look like?
I think it will be like a variation on battle passes. Like I feel like battle passes have done a pretty good job of keeping people, and it will be just like at first it will seem like a non-intrusive battle pass, but they'll get you.
Or you'll have
some sneaky way.
You'll have companies like Activision, Zynga, all these big companies. They'll have whole teams dedicated to market research, trying to work out what is the next way to get people to spend more money.
We had loot boxes, we had battle passes. I'm ready for the next.
Yeah, what is next?
The next bunch of keys that they dangle in front of me.
Yeah, so it's kind of went in a weird direction, but I kind of like it. Yeah. Merry Christmas, everybody. That's not at you, Will. So I don't want to piss you off. Sorry. Let's move on to some news. A lot of these were curated by Steve this week because I've spent half the week drunk. So that's
half.
And people said I had a problem with drinking when I drank on one single cider on stream today in the morning.
Well, there's difference
what time, Steve? 10 a.m.
There's difference between me going out to a social event a few times, Steve, and you drinking, shots at 9 a.m. But yeah, we've got a few stories here. This one, I did give this a read. You posted this one, Steve. Mm-hmm. This is Phil Spencer saying Sony wants to grow at Xbox's expense. So it's the shenanigans carrying on of the whole Xbox buying Activision Blizzard, basically.
Yeah, because and last week we didn't cover it because of we had a lot of stories, but FTC is suing Microsoft for their Activision takeover now. Activision Blizzard, takeover.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a continuation of that.
Yeah, it's. I think I always kind of knew that this was obviously going to have issues, just getting anywhere because it's like one of the biggest media acquisitions of all time. But it seems to be basically it's public squabbling, but it's some of the new news is Microsoft have agreed to put Call of Duty on Nintendo and PlayStation platforms for the next 10 years.
I was going to say, no, well, they've said the story before they agreed, like, Sony's getting 3 years. The stories I've seen have just been saying, like, Microsoft's agreed to put Call of Duty on Nintendo products for the next 10 years. I haven't. Are they actually doing it with Sony for 10 years, or are they just getting the 3 years?
I think they're extending the same deal, from what I understand. But I think the point is that Sony's angle towards it all is that they're basically strangling out the competition, right, and taking Call of Duty, this, that, and the other. Whereas Microsoft try to be like, look, if that's the point, then you can still have it for a bit. It's fine. Look, we'll put it on the Switch somehow, cloud gaming, whatever. But yeah, so that's one of the big like sticking points, and it's because none of these. I'm not on anyone's side, right? I think they're just two massive companies publicly fighting. But it's also like Sony being like, you can't take Starfield exclusive and you can't pay for Call of Duty. That's bollocks. Whereas at the same time, they're paying for Final Fantasy 16 and things like that.
Yeah, and I think that I found this interesting because Sony are complaining about this all, while at the moment they are dominating the console market, like
Yes.
with their own exclusives. So what Phil is saying is like Sony are just trying to make sure they keep the lead on the market. Like they're both kind of like in the wrong and the right. Like we don't want one to be dominant, but they're both like arguing.
It's like you say,
for this position.
Sony have currently the leading position, and it's like, and believe it or not, Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard is ridiculous, and will give them a shitload of exclusives. So obviously, Sony don't want that because it's ridiculous. It's like all of a sudden you have, on console exclusives, Diablo and Call of Duty and all these Bethesda's games. I don't think it's hidden what the agendas are. It's obvious that Sony don't want this because they want to keep their market position. I think, whatever outcome you get from this will certainly delay it. That's for sure, because it just feels like something new gets thrown into the ring like every week at this point.
I was gonna say, and it's like in a way where Sony has been so dominant and have been doing all these exclusives. I'm not sure. I never like one company to be so dominant in their field. So hopefully this fighting will work out better for the consumer, where they'll be clawing at each other to like be like, oh, here's some good deals, or have this game for free, or hopefully it works out best for us.
That's literally what's happening, right? Because this is the first ever generation where Sony first parties are now on PC. So I think it's like we're only winning out of this.
As of right now, with the state that the consumer is in right now, this is probably about as good as it's going to get for a while. You still have your Xbox Game Passes for what is it, like £8 currently? I think £7-8.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've got a whole bunch of free stuff coming out all the time, and that will change. Like Microsoft have already said they want to up the price of Game Pass next year, and as soon as they suddenly have 2/3 of the industry on Game Pass, they could just be like, "Yeah, we're bumping the price again," But look at all the stuff. But what are you going to do? How else are you going to play it?
Yeah.
So
just hoping that like maybe Sony will step up their Game Pass value. I can't remember what it was even called.
They
PlayStation
don't
Plus.
have the money. I don't think they have the same capital to do something as big as Game Pass. They have PlayStation Network Plus and Pro and Ultimate, whatever, where they give out free stuff, but I don't think they have the money to just fund the entirety of the equivalent of like Forza and then Gears 5 and then Starfield. Like, I think I was always optimistic when there was talks ages ago of the PlayStation Network Game Pass, where I was like, oh man, it's gonna have Horizon 2 on it, it's gonna have God of War. It's just like I don't think they can afford that.
I was gonna say, unless they start like trying to go on the PC route as well.
Well, they are.
But
you got Returnal coming out in a few months.
Yeah.
You've got Last of Us Part 1, which is still very recent to PlayStation 5, the remake.
Yeah,
That's now got a PC release date. I feel like it used to be a couple years between PlayStation and Steam releases, and that gap is getting smaller and smaller with every new game, I feel. Might have to check
I
that,
think you're
but
right.
it feels like it, you know what I mean? Because it used to be like Oh yeah, God of War Ragnarok. You won't see that on PC for like 2-3 years, but you might actually see it a bit sooner.
I was gonna say, yeah, like you can Final Fantasy 16. It's coming out June, I think, next year on PlayStation
Yeah.
5, and they said it will be exclusive to PS5 for at least until the beginning of 2024. But as soon as that's going to be like a January game of 2024 for PC.
Well, that's kind of different in the way that I assume it's not a Sony property, right? They have a contract specifically written with Sony, and as soon as it ends, it's like, yeah, get it out to everywhere else.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I feel like games that are on Sony are like, as soon as they can, they will put them on PC, and I feel like that contract is being shorter and shorter as time goes on.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting out your IPs to more people to make more people realize how valuable those IPs are, right?
Yes,
because it's like if Microsoft's plan is like aggressive expansion of Game Pass, suddenly if Sony are putting their stuff on PC, it gets a whole new audience of people saying, look at all this cool Sony stuff that I can only get on the Sony side of the market, and those sorts of things. So, because God of War will never be on Game Pass, Horizon will never be on Game Pass. I say that, but
one day,
realistically, as long as like the world doesn't get turned upside down, Sony games aren't going to suddenly start being on Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah.
So
Microsoft just need to buy Sony. That would solve all these problems, wouldn't it?
But then we'd have a monopoly, and that wouldn't also be good either.
Microsoft buy Sony, they buy Nintendo, they buy Sega, they buy Namco, they buy everything, and then Game Pass is the only way to get games, and it's £200 a month. And if you want to play games, you better fork up the money, because otherwise you're not going to be playing all these cool games.
Really, though, that would be a blessing. Then I might go and learn like a skill.
And that's how I learned guitar.
Could you imagine?
Yes, I look forward to Will's just chatting / exploration outside streams, where he's just in woods now.
I think I'm going to become a woodworker.
Yeah.
I always respect people who, it's like you can just make a chair out of nothing, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I didn't have a chair, now I do.
I feel
impressive.
Like you see those videos on YouTube where it's like, it's a guy making a bowl or something, and he glues a whole bunch of wood together. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, speed it up. I skip forward like a minute and a half, and the block of wood is just a bowl. I'm like, okay, I've missed something here. Let's go.
I the other day watched someone make a wooden spoon. So.
I would back your woodcrafting career if you wanted.
You back my woodcrafting journey.
I would continue to subscribe. Okay, donate bits to jump scare you whilst you're on like a wooden lathe. That seems safe. Like nothing can go wrong there. All right, let's mix this up. There's a few other stories we've got. Quite a quick one, but we were talking about Last of Us a minute ago. From a what's the word? Respected leaker. Is that you get what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Last of Us Part 3 reportedly in development. But don't expect it anytime soon.
Oh wait, hold on! Wasn't there a couple weeks ago you all told me I was crazy?
Yeah.
When I said Last of Us Part 3 was going to happen.
Okay, go Steve.
Don't care about this. I'm just like, there's so much Last of Us. I've never played one of the games. I'm like,
oh, that's why you don't care.
That's why you don't care.
Yeah, what is this?
Get it out of here.
Okay, well, I'm going to talk about it because it is very good and I care about it.
It's like, I don't care about the weather in Arizona. It's like, yeah, because you don't live there. Well,
yeah, exactly.
So I did say, yeah, there wouldn't be a Last of Us Part 3. I think I might be on the record saying that I thought there would be a Last of Us subtitle.
Yeah, you said there was going to be like Last of Us something, like a reimagining of the series, or like a whole new entry in the series sort of thing.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm not writing it. I know nothing about what they want to do if this is happening, so I can't really comment, but I kind of thought the characters were done at the end of Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah, Unless they're just going to call it 3, but not have the same main character, you know?
Yeah, it's
There's
Last
a
of Us
big
Part 3, but
possibility.
also it's like 30-year time skip and it's all new characters, maybe.
I think that's probably the most likely, right? Because I haven't played it, but I know what happens.
I don't know what happens. I assume they have kids and.
Again, no spoilers, but Last of Us Part 2 has a pretty definitive ending, and I feel like it does. Yeah,
it does leave things open, but in a way that is like, but it feels like the end. You know, like you know what I mean. It's like the Italian Job. It's like, well, yes, things progressed once the camera stopped rolling, but this is very much the end of the film. Don't count the Mark Wahlberg sequel.
Yeah, it's like you could go back and bother Ellie and see what she's up to, but also I kind of just want you to leave her alone now, I think.
yeah. Those characters have done their thing.
They have, they've had solid arcs. Please don't put them through any more trauma. I don't know if they can take it anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Last of Us makes so much money. I know it's like the joke of repeated remakes and this, that, and the other, but it's like another remake that's coming to PC soon, TV show. Like, of course, there's more Last of Us. I just didn't think it would be a quote unquote part 3.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited to see where they take that franchise, because I feel like they were sort of over it by the end of the second one. Not in like a bad way, but just like you feel like they want to move on to other projects by the end of that second one.
I was gonna say, I feel like after the amount of like talking they've done about like, oh, Last of Us like part 1 for the 3rd time, I'm like, oh, they're gonna milk this cash cow.
You should play it, Steve.
I should. Is it coming to PC soon?
You should play it.
Yes.
When's the date? What day is it coming out?
Let's find out. You should personally find out why so many people love this series. You might fucking enjoy it.
We'll find out.
The Last of Us PC date. 29th of July 2014. I hate Google sometimes.
It's coming out March 3rd, 2023, according to Steam.
March 3rd. So that's like
I might
3
play
months.
it.
I don't know if your PC can run it. It's a bit of a beast.
Wow.
No, that's not a dig. My PC cannot run it, Steve. Games are getting to the point now. I think
50 quid as well, yeah.
I mentioned this before. I can't remember where, but it's like when I now quite frequently jump between PC and PS5, my PC is lagging, man. It's chugging along. It's not as spry as it used to be.
Yeah.
How's your new card, Sam? You're 37.
It's going well, mate.
Yeah,
it's going well, I tell you.
Have you really stressed it yet?
I bet WoW looks really good on that.
Yeah, WoW. So that's the other funny thing, right? Is I started playing WoW, and before I was playing WoW not at 60 FPS, so it does look better.
I can't run WoW at 60
Worth
FPS.
every penny.
Jesus.
Yeah, my old graphics card couldn't.
You need to proper stress it. You need to get like. What's the big stressor these days?
What do you go to? I think it's not Crisis, is it?
No, I think it's
Crisis
still.
Remastered.
I think it's still Cyberpunk.
That's half the reason why I tried to play Total War Warhammer 3.
Oh right, yeah. You're saying
I was like, this will fucking stress the graphics card.
I think that stressed
and then I got bored of it
than...
really quick.
Do you have Cyberpunk?
Yeah.
You should hop back on that and see how that's the big stressor, I think. Like, that's the current benchmarker. But anyway.
I've no reason to play that game, unfortunately. I've played it through.
Yeah, but it's just like, just see how pretty it is. Yeah, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Play Rise.
Play what? Rise?
Right, play Rise, Son of Rome.
Son of Rome. I was like, you're not talking about Son of Rome, are you? Oh, wait, he is.
No, he's talking about the champion in League of Legends.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that's what I meant, yeah.
Very quickly, really quick updates. We talked about this before. There was talks a while ago of a Horizon multiplayer game of like, oh, they're doing it, but this was like how we just talked about Last of Us, where it was like there's rumors. This rumor has now been confirmed. Guerrilla are working on a proper co-op multiplayer Horizon game, so it's not going to be. How
did they confirm it?
There's a tweet. There's a recruitment tweet. Let me bring it up.
So
Sorry.
it's not confirmed.
No, it is confirmed. Look, Guerrilla Games, open
Mhm.
positions. Let me open. So this is it's a recruitment drive. We are continuing to create epic solo adventures for Aloy, but there is more. A new internal team is developing a separate online project set in Horizon's universe, featuring a new cast of characters and a unique stylized look. Friends will be able to explore the majestic worlds of Horizon together. Come blaze up in Amsterdam with all these cool people.
Because the rumor before was it was a Horizon MMO, so this could technically be that.
Technically, yeah. I think whatever the rumor was before, this is it. I would be shocked if they're making 2 separate individual online projects in the Horizon universe. So this has got to be the same thing, right?
Making
Didn't
an
you
MMO
recently get a
in-
new job, Josh?
Oh, sorry?
Yeah, that's it.
Didn't
Josh
you
is working on.
I was gonna say,
the
didn't you get
Horizon
like
MMO.
a job in programming recently?
Yeah, I am the new mocap actor for
For Aloy.
online Aloy. Yeah.
He's the robot T-Rex. That's
Yeah.
Josh's.
got the arms for it.
I'm there in like a mocap suit doing T-Rex poses. Like I thought I was programming, man. This is fucking bollocks.
An MMO in 2020. Whatever, 3, 4.
Don't get latched onto that word.
No, chance.
Steve's thrown out MMO, and there's
Oh, is
nothing.
Steve making shit up
No,
again?
no.
there's nothing here to
That
do with
was
MMO.
the rumor. That was the rumor. Was MMO.
I cannot see Guerrilla Games making an MMO. They've
Who
never
knows?
made. Oh, it's the devs. Guerrilla.
Well, the devs know, but
Presumably
who
they
knows?
know, yeah.
was like
It'll be an XCOM like.
oh yeah, that's yeah for sure, yeah. No, I think it'll be like maybe like I'm gonna throw this out there. Obviously, no proof or anything, but I would love like a Monster Hunter style game, 4-player co-op.
Oh yes,
in
that
this
would
universe.
be.
Oh, God,
that
why
would be
haven't-
great.
Why isn't
Easy
Horizon
money.
just Monster Hunter?
Easy money. But yeah, so that's that one. Not a lot to really go off, but officially confirmed,
Yeah.
which is cool. Next little one, quick. I'm excited for this, but again, not much to really talk about. Is Spider-Man 2 has a release date.
When is the
Fall
in full?
Fall 2023, which is still a bit vague.
I was gonna say, so it's not a date; it's a release.
It's not a date; it's a release target.
Yeah.
I think when this came out, as in Spider-Man 1, I think that was my game of the year.
That was the year of God of War, Red Dead 2, and Spider-Man. What were the big games that year?
And I think it was really close, but I was like, I loved Spider-Man PS4.
A lot of people did.
That game is amazing. It's like...
I own it on PlayStation 4. I have not played much of it. I just remember the controversy about the water in that game.
What are you talking about?
Where in the trailer,
the weirdest things.
Yeah. Sorry, that's how my brain works. I remember the trailer water looked fantastic, and then people were like, it looks worse in game.
Oh my god, I think I know what you're talking about as well.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake.
There we go.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Spider-Man trailer water.
Don't drink it. The gross water in the back of the trailer.
I'm pretty sure that was the controversy.
There was no controversy. It's probably something that got 500 upvotes on the front of Reddit.
Can't. Yeah, Steve read one angry tweet. And
Yeah.
that's
No.
the controversy.
Actually, the water looks awful.
I can't find a
No, yeah.
single.
I'm not even humouring this. Spider-Man 2 looks awesome. What we've seen so far, it's going to have Venom, which is always cool. Everyone loves Venom. It's easy money.
Okay, I never played the original Spider-Man, but how many of the iconic villains are in that one? Like, was there?
They
like, a Doc
do basically. So the Spider-Man PS4 is basically the Sinister Six story, which is what is it? It's your Vulture, Scorpion, Green Goblin,
Rhino.
Rhino, Electro.
How many we got?
What's the dome fish?
Mysterio.
Mysterio. It's the Sinister Six story. So it's like, Doc Ock is in it.
Wait, that's 7 now.
plus others.
Sinister Six, all 7 of them.
Yeah, Alex says in chat,
Morbius.
Morbus A, Morbs
Fuck,
everywhere.
how many is that?
They put Morbius in a DLC to make you buy more, because who's not going to buy Morbius, right?
Was Morbius in Spider-Man?
Absolutely not. And thank God.
Like not even mentioned or like a side.
No
character
one
or
cared about fucking Morbius till the stupid movie came out.
That's not true.
That's
not true.
100% true.
There were morb heads pre the film.
Yeah, they're also called crackheads.
Unlike the people that made the film.
But yeah, there's also the Miles Morales DLC. That's really good. It's a little bit expensive, but it's really good.
And Morbius wasn't in that either.
No, it's not. No, it's definitely not in that. I don't think.
Right. Okay.
Spider-Man had a really cool thing though. Has anyone else here played it? It's just me.
I played Spider-Man. Yeah.
Did you collect all the suits? That's the best part of that game. It was just all the crazy suits you get.
I collected a lot of them. Yeah, there was some really fun ones in there.
I was gonna say, I do remember there was one of underwear, right?
Yeah, I think there's underwear Spider-Man. One of the cooler ones was the Into the Spider-Verse suit that you could get.
Yeah.
And like the movie, it kind of like animated like every other frame, so it just looks really like.
Oh yes, I do remember that. Yeah, that was cool.
It might have been like a pre-order bonus, I think, because the movie was either just come out or was coming out, so it was kind of like to get pre-orders in.
Yeah.
But that that was awesome. There was such a small part of that game, all the suits. It wasn't a small part. It's cool, but like I got so into that more than I thought I would. I remember talking to a friend of ours, Darren, and we were like, we never really talk about games, me and him, but like we were sending each other like screenshots we were taking in the photo mode because we were just so into it. It's so cool. Loved it. So I can't wait for this. It's another game on the list. We were talking about it before about how 2023, especially around the mid of the year, is just fucking stacked. It's insane. There's so much stuff. So 2023 is. It feels like 2023 is looking to be the year that like the COVID period has finally like kind of stopped, and those games that were delayed are actually starting to like all come out now.
I mean,
yeah.
Cynical me is like 2023 is the year that Elden Ring is not coming out, so games stand a chance.
Okay, I'm gonna
What are you saying?
Elden Ring wasn't that good.
I'm saying that Elden Ring still like people were so frothing at the mouth for that game that like other games,
all the big studios pushed all their games to 2023.
Yeah, they pushed their games to 2023.
Just so we're clear.
Elden Ring is too popular. We should delay our game by 18 months.
Exactly.
Oh, I love you, Steve. Next story. This is one for you posted, Steve, so you can talk about it. This is about Chris Metzen.
Oh, yeah. Chris Metzen's coming back to World of Warcraft.
Isn't he part of the bad Blizzard, though? I know people like him.
No.
He's not.
He's not. He has come out and said, like, I, like, just being around there, am complicit for, I was in the leadership. Like, he has owned, like, he's said, like, even though he was not directly a bad person, he was around that time. He probably could have done more.
Right.
Like
he left a while ago as well.
Yes.
2016. It says he departed.
So he's been gone for a fair bit.
Yeah. Blizzard
not to exonerate him.
No.
But
Blizzard were bad for a while, right? Again, I'm not throwing under the bus. I'm just trying to get my head around the situation.
But yeah, so he technically wasn't a bad one, but one of the like really bad ones. But like he's coming back to the game as a creative advisor that will first, is mostly going to be World of Warcraft at the start, and then continue, going to other projects. But like he was always like kind of the heart and soul of World of Warcraft. Like every BlizzCon, he was like. He's got the voice and the presence to like do the announcement.
He's the voice of Thrall as well. Like he was, he was the guy.
It's kind of like big that they're like, oh yeah, we're getting him back.
Creative advisor sounds like such an expensive role.
Oh, I bet.
It sounds like we're going to have you come in for like 6 hours a week and sit in a few meetings and tell us what you think we should do, and we're going to pay you a ton of money.
But yeah, he's like a big name, especially for World of Warcraft. So it's like for him to come out. He retired, I think. So now for him to come out of retirement it is
Well,
big news.
I did
One
read
last
this.
job, one last WoW
They
expansion.
always bring me back in. The next expansion would just be called World of Warcraft. Chris Metzen.
That's how they get people back.
Yeah.
With Chris
Oh
Metzen's
damn!
back.
Oh, I'm in. Yeah. There's no CG cutscene this time. It's just him in a black background, just talking to the camera, saying like, "Yeah, I've made this one. Come play." No, I did read this article and it said he went to do like some tabletop thing for a bit.
Something like that, yeah.
And yeah, now he's back to doing this. He worked on like StarCraft, Diablo 2. Like you say, he was
He was like
ceased
one of the
literally
heads
thrall.
of Blizzard. Yeah.
I know it's weird because like, I don't really play World of Warcraft anymore, and I didn't a long time ago, like the earlier WoW. But I just know what he looks like. I know what Chris Metzen looks like and sounds like. He was such a face, I think, for like BlizzCon and stuff for so many years.
Especially BlizzCon.
Yeah, it's like
He just
I
like
can see
oozed
him.
coolness.
Yeah,
Which is, I think, part of the reason why he stepped down as well when he did.
oh, because there's all this shit, and he was such a big face.
Well, he became like the face of Blizzard,
Yeah,
and like, you know, I mean, what happened came out, but clearly some stuff also was going on that he knew about.
yeah,
And he said, like, I remember when he stepped down, there was like tons of different reasons and stuff, but one of the main ones is he was the face of Blizzard, and that is a dangerous thing to be.
Yeah. I feel like it's a mixed bag because like he was around when Blizzard was really good, like StarCraft, Warcraft 3.
yes, yeah.
Like,
Overwatch.
Chris
golden
Metzen,
era.
yeah.
Diablo
But he
2,
was also still around in a lot of the bad
The
Blizzard
bad times.
era, yeah.
People don't remember that though.
So it's kind of, and then there's the whole like, well, how much can he really do if you come? But like, I feel like Blizzard is kind of set in their ways at this point. I don't know.
That's why I
Maybe
said
Diablo 4 is
like
gonna
creative
salvage
advisor
everything,
just sounds so expensive. It's like
I was gonna say, I think this is more of a PR move than like, oh, we need old Chris to come back and actually help us with our games. It's more like, look, he's back working with us.
It's going to be an
Aren't you
expensive
happy?
PR
I was gonna
move, though.
say, yeah, that's fucking expensive, man.
But they need it. Like they're doing.
No, they don't.
Well, they don't need it, but it will help. think.
We've said for a while that WoW is in a really weird position. I just don't think this is a solution.
I mean, I would even say that they've done well enough. Like people are starting to come back to Dragonflight, give it a go. They're enjoying it. People being like, "Oh, okay, they're listening." Finally, took them a while, but they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think any like conspiracy theories of PR moves this that the other, they don't need it.
Yeah, I don't think it's PR. I think it's probably just an attempt to try and get a little bit of guidance on where the law should maybe go. I think creative advisor will probably be a job that doesn't get really stuck into it, but makes like broader strokes on the overall direction.
Well, especially when you think that in the WoW story, they're supposed to be like tying it up.
Yeah,
like this whole expansion is supposed to be a new take, right? They're kind of trying to put a bow on what's happened previously and go in a fresh direction.
Yeah.
They've definitely not done it as well as Final Fantasy has, let's put it that way.
We can't all be
But to
FF14.
do that, you need to know where you're going. And if they don't have that, then they're just going to fall into the same pitfalls. And that's where I think this comes in.
It's the kind of thing where they'll say like, "Hey, Chris, thanks for coming in. We've got these ideas where we want the next expansion to go, or where we want these patches to go. What do you think?" And he's like, "I don't really like that at all. You should do this instead." And they're like, "Oh, that's really cool."
No, you know that they're going to just shove him in a cupboard and wheel him out for BlizzCon.
That as well.
That's his job.
I mean, I don't think, like you say, I don't think it's solely PR. I think he's obviously been given the role creative advisor, right? It's obviously he is advising the creatives behind World of Warcraft. I think he'll make big strokes, big broad strokes. Like next expansion should be this, and also bring Thrall back and make him on the box.
It's unfortunate that we won't really get to see his input. Like he's not going to be like, oh, I did this. There was going to be 2 dragons on this box, but I wanted 3 dragons on the box.
I doubt he cares, to be honest. He's probably being paid a fucking fortune. So, but it's I think like just because you don't finalize who's on the box or who is this or whatever, I think if you guide the entire story in a direction, that's kind of like you all over it. Like you can point to all of it and be like, I made it go this way, and I saved WoW, or I made the expansion that finally killed WoW, or whatever. It's like that's why you get paid so much, because you make such big sweeping motions across the entire.
Maybe that's it. He's coming back to finish the to finish it, to finish the job. He's finally going to bury WoW. That's his.
We always said WoW would be the thing that kills WoW, right? Internal strife, and Chris Metzen comes in and just says, you know what? What if we just kill every character?
Yeah.
The fans will love that.
No,
just kill every character.
Log in, you just die. That's it. and then it ends your subscription. That's it.
No, I feel like he'd like do it in a more fantastical way. Like, do you know what WoW needs is anime cat girls, and then just.
I'm not sure about Chris Metzen's new idea of the login page being the Final Fantasy 14 sign up page, but he's creative advisor. We're just gonna go with it and see how it plays out. Right, yeah. Chris Metzen's back. Whoop-de-doo. Amazon will publish the next Tomb Raider game. I don't really have much to say about this. I think it's pretty big, but
yeah. So Tomb Raider has been done by Square Enix, right?
Yeah, Squeenix.
Yeah,
Squeenix, and so now it's Amazon's taking a crack at the publishing, which is they've been dipping their toes into games, but it's all been like multiplayer games, like New World, Lost Ark,
yeah,
and like that sort of ilk. So this is their first time doing a single player game. So
Amazon aren't developing it; they are still publishing.
Crystal Dynamics.
Yeah, it's still Crystal Dynamics, but it's their first time publishing a single player game. So it'll be interesting to see, like, because like Amazon love to like put stuff on Game Pass, not Game Pass, sorry, Amazon Prime, Prime Gaming. So it'll be like, will Tomb Raider be like, oh, every week you can get like a new bikini outfit for Lara Croft or something?
Oh, I hate it.
If
Thanks,
you got
Steve.
Prime Gaming, like it's just interesting to see that they are finally taking the dive into single player games as well.
I think the next Tomb Raider will come out, and you won't even notice that it's got a different publisher. It'll just be Revenge of the Tomb Raider, or whatever it's called. What are the other ones? Rise and Shadow.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Rise of the Tomb Raider. Yeah.
It's like I feel like this is personally for me, right? Because I know they're good games, but I can't get excited about a new Tomb Raider game because at this point I'm about 3 of them behind. So
the last ones were a trilogy, so you'd assume this is a brand new take.
I can't reboot Lara again.
Oh, why not? We're on Final Fantasy 16, Josh. You can do what you want.
I feel like Lara's had 3 or 4 reboots, or like soft reboots. It's crazy. It's like
we talked about this last week. How you can just what are we doing? Are we doing guess the game or something? We were talking about how someone said that looks like Tomb Raider, and it's like you can pick any generation of game and say something and it looks like Tomb Raider because there's been a Tomb Raider game like every couple years for the last decade.
If they're just publishing, like, although it says they're providing full support, are they going to actually have any say? If they're just publishers,
by providing full support usually means we're going to give you money, and you're going to give us a cut of the results. But like providing support in terms of a publisher is usually like the marketing deadlines.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Management, like, why is this shit late? Hurry the fuck up!
Yeah,
or we're going to take all your money, basically. There's so many stuff. There's so much stuff that will change internally for the developers, Crystal Dynamics, but like the consumer will never see any of that.
Yeah,
Crystal Dynamics' job will either get easier or harder based on this change in publisher, and
Amazon's got the money though.
Just see the results. I think it's funny. Tomb Raider was the Crystal Dynamics Tomb Raiders were always the ones where they would come out, they would do really well, and then Square Enix would go, yeah, but it wasn't. They'd sell like 5 million copies or something, and then Square Enix would put out their like investors call or whatever, and they'd be like, yeah, Tomb Raider was disappointing. Like, yeah, 5 million copies.
I
But
think you say 5. I
8
think it was like 10. It sold like 10, and they were like, "We wanted more. We wanted more." And just everyone's reaction was just like, what are you smoking?
Are you bad? Yeah.
And then because of the Amazon of it all, it probably will get like more advertising on Twitch and stuff, and there'll be like bigger pushes for it. So maybe this is the push that they needed to like make to get the numbers that they truly want.
It's odd though because it's such a big brand. It's like, does it need a push if it's already like selling on Square Enix platforms? Like like 8 million, 10 million. It's like how much more can you get?
It's strange way. I just feel like Crystal Dynamics they're just solid. You just leave them to it. Like it Yeah, I don't know.
No, I agree. I think
yeah.
It's like the next Tomb Raider game. It will be great. I don't have doubts that they've got 3 games behind them in that trilogy I just done that are all solid games.
Yeah.
So,
but I'm just excited to see how this one, how it launches, and what will the Amazonness of it do to the game?
I don't think you'll see any. I honestly don't think you'll see any difference.
Well, I mean, that is possible, but it also could be like, oh, it's got like Game Pass stuff every single week for like a few months, or it'd be interesting. And then this is also the first single player game, so we could also see other like game companies start getting published by Amazon as well for their single player games, and it's just like an interesting time.
Amazon,
I believe so. Yes,
apparently it is. Yeah. Everything else has been
they've all MMOs
that MMO and all that weird shit. I'm gonna blow your mind, Steve. I have Amazon Prime, had it for a long time. Twitch Prime, all that stuff. I do not interact with Twitch gaming in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, I claim all the free Amazon stuff for the games I play. There's a Dead by Daylight cookie, Christmas cookie charm that you can claim right now.
Care less. I would rather not press the button. I just feel like it's in such a weird position.
In 2019, Amazon Game Studios Seattle released the Grand Tour the game.
Oh, don't fucking fact check me on my own podcast.
For PS4 and Xbox One. There you go, I just looked it up.
Well,
what do you have to say to that?
I just straight up don't believe you.
Fake news.
Yeah, fake news. Let me just mute you in Discord quick. Hang on, let's get you out of here. fucking getting heckled.
Edit me out of the podcast quickly.
All right, let's move on. We've got 2 more stories to wrap up quickly, and then we'll call it. Did you say you had many upcoming games, Steve? Or
no? This is a quiet week.
That's fine. We'll make this work then. I hate this news story, but I kind of love it. Death Stranding is getting a movie.
Wait, hold on. Read that full.
I'll read the full title. Okay. Weird ass video game Death Stranding to become presumably weird ass movie. Hideo Kojima's strange, divisive sci-fi game starred The Walking Dead's Daryl Dixon and a baby in a jar.
This is an easy movie. I
like this guy.
Right?
Yeah, it's already a movie.
It's not an easy good movie, but this is an easy movie.
Yeah.
Well, the game was already basically a movie. So.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I am more interested in a Death Stranding movie than I would be playing the games. Because the games, to me, like the advertising was like, oh yeah, you're walking a lot. And I assume a movie is going to be not walking a lot.
There are so many games that I just wish you would play instead of just absorbing opinions.
I had so much. Admittedly, I watched both Josh and our friend Chris play it. It was so fun just to see him just out in the world.
I love this game.
It's almost like a little bit of puzzle solving as well, where you got to get from point A to point B, and then you get to like improve the roads and everything for everyone else, and you see all the like Facebook +1s and thumbs up and everything, and the game was it was great.
People just take the whole walking simulator thing and run away with it, and it's just like there's a lot more to it. It is not the perfect game. It is not the best game ever made, but its story was really good. I enjoyed the story. It had certain beats that were really, really cool and interesting. The acting, obviously, this is now talking about the game as opposed to the movie, because God knows who's going to be in the movie. But like Mads Mikkelsen.
I am so excited for this movie because it means that some people are going to have to come in and be like, no, Kojima, we can't spend a week filming ice cubes melting for reference. We have to make a movie. Like, he's going to be beholden to movie rules. You know what I mean? And I feel like his weirdness, but contained to a nice hour and a half, 2 hour experience. I'm all for that.
It depends on whether or not I assume he's not directing it, right? I mean, he's not a movie director as much as he wants to be in his games. He's not.
But it's gonna have his fingerprints all over it. He's not.
I guess, yeah.
He's not just handing off Death Stranding, is he, to a studio to make a movie? No way.
Do you mean like literally, like on the film, like he's gonna have his
probably,
fingerprints?
probably.
Yeah. Have his inky black fingerprints.
He'll
all over
probably
it.
be there in person to meet you as you go in the cinema. Every single showing.
Do you think
you'll be shown to your seat by Kojima?
Do you think he'll self-insert himself into
He'll
the
be
movie
kicking your chair.
Did you like it? Yeah, I don't know. Steve, I've got like a whole handful of games I just want you to play, Steve. It's not fair.
Well, I tell you what, like, you tell me one and I will play one for you.
9 to 5.
What was that? Fucking hell, that's quick.
Yeah,
Persona 5.
Persona 5.
We said 9 to 5.
Oh yeah, I thought you said 9 to 5.
You were telling Steve to get a job.
That's a Dolly Parton song, right?
Yeah, creepy, weird Death Stranding movie. I kind of like, because I really like Death Stranding the game.
2 stars in it.
Or like the easy answer is the same people that are in the game.
Norman Reedus.
Like, like you have Norman Reedus and Mads Mikkelsen and the baby.
The baby.
The baby.
Maybe.
Hit rapper and artist, the baby.
But like the other answer is just like characters that don't work for those roles, and it's just a really jank movie. Because the game's fine. The game can't be touched. I've played the game. It's good. I'm okay with the movie being really shit. That makes sense.
Like, yes, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
As long as it's weird. That's all. Like, if it's not as weird as the game, they fucked up.
Yeah, it's like how the Resident Evil movies are kind of shit, but still entertaining. It's like you can't touch the games. Like, the games are fine. And I'm not crying about missed opportunity with movies because I could just play the games again. So it's like, get weird with the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Last little story then, just to tap it off. This isn't really games, but I thought at this point we'd be racing through the stories, but we've still got time to talk about it. So this is more about just something I guess we're all somewhat interested in. Is Henry Cavill?
Yes.
Henry Cavill.
He called this. Yeah. I called this as well. I'm some kind of.
All right, shut up. Let me get the title out. Let me get the title out.
Mr. Henry Cavill was a fake Warhammer fan.
Yeah, that's a bit. But
let me get the fucking title out. Jesus Christ. Henry Cavill is set to produce and star in an entire Warhammer 40k cinematic universe, done by Amazon Studios. So. Yeah, fake
Speaking
gamer
of things
Henry
that are
Cavill.
going to be shit. Fake gamer Henry Cavill. Yeah.
He can't keep getting away with it, man. He's tricking so many people.
He's even got Amazon now. Yeah.
Even his picture. Look at that fucking smile. He doesn't even know what he's holding.
The recent news about this. Oh god.
He doesn't know what he's doing. He just wants to be Superman again.
Yeah, I was gonna say the recent news about this was like
sad.
He was The Witcher, but then he didn't like the direction that the producers were.
He is still The Witcher for now. For a whole other season, he is still.
Yes, they
Geralt.
Filmed one already, but
And then it's going to be what's the guy's name that's replacing him?
Liam
Neeson.
Oh fuck! I'd watch Liam Neeson.
I will find you,
Witcher.
and I will beat you at Gwent.
Yeah, one of the Hemsworths. But then, he didn't like the direction the story's going in, so he left the Witcher project to go do Superman. But then they didn't want him as Superman again, or something like that.
So James Gunn has jumped into the DC universe with someone else. Can't remember who, but they're basically redoing the DCU from scratch.
Yeah, and it's not just Henry Cavill; it is the lot of them.
Yes, their vision for Superman is a younger Superman, hence Henry Cavill.
Wow, calling him old and firing him.
He's quite old at this point. I read they're keeping a bunch of people though.
They probably keep some,
not as their characters, though. I believe.
Right,
they want Jason Momoa to play Lobos, I think was the rumor.
Oh man, from
That's
Aquaman
really
to Lobos, that's
crazy.
shit.
Is that demotion or
Oh, I don't know what a Lobos is.
I don't know who Lobos is. Yeah.
So I assume it's
Inno powers or
Lobo. Oh, not Lobos. Lobo.
I was gonna say he's gonna go walk up to Aquaman and be like, "I did it better."
He's a character in the comic books created by the Omega Man 3.
Jason Momoa, he's right there.
This is a downgrade. I'm sorry, but yeah, I always feel it's weird when you take actors that are already established superheroes and keeping them in the same universe, but now as other superheroes. The other one I can think of is Chris Evans, where he was
but Human Torch to Captain America.
But that was kind of like different because it was before the whole MCU thing, and he only did it once. Whereas Jason Momoa is very clearly Aquaman at this point, so it's kind of odd.
Also, it's very weird because when I think about that Fantastic Four film as well, he was so much like younger and skinnier that I'm like, that's fine.
Yeah.
He's just a different person now.
Before we had those Hollywood steroids.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
the good diet. Eat the grains every day like I do, and you can put on 80 pounds of muscle mass in 2 months. Thanks, Hollywood. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Yeah. So 40K TV series or movie series, whatever. Across series, film, and more. I think I've always said for a while that 40K is on the cusp of just being enormous, right? Like multimedia, massive. What are you gonna say?
Yeah, I still don't think we're at the point where a studio is going to be willing to commit the budget to something as grand as a Warhammer series. I just don't think it'll
Amazon
happen.
though.
They're doing that big D&D movie. What's it called?
That's true, but I feel like D&D is an easier sell to regular. It's just it's just fantasy, isn't it? It's just Lord of the Rings again. That's what people are gonna.
I guess, yeah. But Warhammer is just like sci-fi fantasy, basically.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm sure Henry Cavill will go into he'll go into the meeting room with his little figures and be like, "Okay, this is the movie," and act it out with his little Warhammer figures.
Yeah, he pulls out his dollies. Sick. And then the Space Marine's like,
he's like bashing them together. Yeah.
And then that's why I need you to invest $100 million.
Yeah. It's like on Shark Tank or something. Yeah. I feel like I think for this kind of thing to take off, you'd have to start small and work up. Yeah. And I don't think that's what they'd want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When it's got like Amazon's name on anything now, my mind goes straight to how like $1 billion was spent on Lord of the Rings.
Yes, Lord of the Rings of Power is a great example where like that's a fine TV show. It's okay, but it's not like it's not reinvigorating everyone's interest in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, you
know
could have achieved the same effect. You could have achieved the same effect using the same license for far less than $1 billion.
Exactly. And I feel like this needs to start like way smaller in scope than I think people are wanting or expecting. This is gonna be like some kind of like it's set in the 40K universe in name only, and everything else is just like kind of.
Yeah,
I don't know. You could do like a murder mystery, but it just happens to be set in a sci-fi universe.
Yeah,
I think that's.
Oh, so you make a whole bunch of separate TV shows that are all really good, and you're like, by the way, they're actually all in the universe, whether you care or not, doesn't matter. But they're all Warhammer.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Because people are going to be expecting like grand scale, impossibly huge scale stakes for a TV show and budget and like the just the scale of the thing. And I don't think that's not what this is going to be. I don't think it can be.
I mean, ultimately, we don't know what's going to be until anything comes about it. Nothing. There's still the possibility that just nothing will happen. There's that outcome as well.
That's true.
Henry needs to win.
He just
doesn't really need a win for him.
One of the world's most handsome men with infinite money needs to win. Fuck off. That's all the news for the week, though. So
Yeah.
That was a good little session of news. Actually, I really like those stories that we had today.
Mhm.
You said there's not a lot, Steve. But I know it's Christmas week, but is there anything
Well, I was
coming
going
up?
to say the only one game that looks kind of jank, but potentially could
Oh
be
no!
like fun. It's called Surrounded. It's a 6-player. Well, it says up to 6-player like co-op horror game. I don't think it's like PvP at all. It might be sort of like Phasmo, but it seemed more like a story game.
It'd be cool if I
Like,
could see anything.
yeah, I was gonna say very dark.
What is this
can't-
screenshot? It's just nothing. Is that a man?
There's something there. Yeah, I was gonna say it's slim pickings. So that was like the only game that's coming out this week. That I was like,
Yeah.
say something.
It's literally Christmas week. Like you'd be mad to release anything this week.
I will say it's a bit skipping ahead, but on the 30th of December, you have Warhammer Age of Sigmar Soul Arena.
Warhammer
Which is
Age of what? Sigma.
Age of Sigmar Soul Arena.
Sigma.
So type Soul Arena. There's
Oh
several.
my god, these Warhammer names.
This is a auto battler.
Oh,
Oh,
you tricked
oh,
me, you son
fuck.
of a bitch. You
I've actually played this.
kept
This
that
is already
hidden
on
until I
mobile.
loaded the page.
Oh, is
didn't you?
And
Is
it's
it
not
good?
very good. No.
Oh, that's sad.
This looks like ass.
But
could-
Henry Cavill could play this. You could.
Maybe this is his first step. Yeah,
He
Henry
made
Cavill.
this himself.
He's like, look, guys, I made a game. I love
Oh my God.
Warhammer.
Henry Cavill made this himself. He programmed it, did the art. He was assisted creatively by Chris Metzen.
Chris Metzen was that. Yeah.
The two of them, through blood, sweat, and tears, have made this game. Please play it, because Henry Cavill needs a win. So
Henry Cavill needs it.
if you could play this, he would really appreciate
Look,
it.
man, Henry Cavill's just a passionate guy, alright?
Fake gamer, not falling for it.
I don't care if he's fake or not. He can talk to me about video games any day.
Well, I'm sure he'll be on the phone any day now. Now that he listens
he
to his
could be-
podcast, so
I was gonna say he could be on this podcast, but Will's talked too much shit about him now. He won't come on.
Henry, can you fund my Dungeons and Dragons Den idea, please? I
Yeah.
feel like it's an absolute win.
yeah.
Henry, if you're watching,
Incoming anonymous stream donation of like £20,000.
I don't need a lot. Yeah. Just, yeah.
All right, we're done here. Let's wrap this up. Thank you for listening, everybody. Let's talk very quickly before we do socials about next week. So we normally record this on a Sunday, but Sunday is Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah.
So I imagine we'll do it at some point a few days after. If not, we might possibly skip the week. We'll keep you updated
No.
in
I was
Discord
gonna say
channels.
we've got to do either like next week because we've got to talk about like the best games of the year and what our games of the year are.
Can we just do that on a whole podcast?
No, that was the Game Awards.
We talked about Jeff Keighley's Game of the Year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who cares about Jeff Keighley? We need to know what Sam's game of the year.
I have
is,
to
you know?
interrupt Christmas to listen to Steve tell me how Elden Ring is Game of the Year.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Elden Ring's not game of the year for me. No.
We'll work something out, but obviously the podcast isn't going anywhere, so there'll be another one. Like I said, we have what's your Discord called, Steve? Imps, whatever. Imps.
The Imp Slayer.
Imps Lair. Sorry, that sounded really rude. Imps Lair.
Oh, that shithole.
Yeah, what, your Discord or whatever? You
That
fucking
whole
loser.
of the degeneracy. There's an official channel in there. I'll post in there what's going on with it, and I'll post it on the Twitter as well. So when we know concrete what's happening, but there will be a podcast, I imagine. But yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll do our socials and we'll head out. My name is BottlerWorks, as always, on everything. Where can we find you, Sam?
You can't.
And where can we find you, Will?
You can find me, Olive Meister. You can find me at Henry Cavill. Please pitch me your ideas for a Warhammer TV show.
And what about you, Steve?
You can find me in your house eating your Christmas cookies and drinking your
I
milk.
can't believe you're doing this for a second year in a row. You absolute thief. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Goodbye.